Welcome to the Daily Globe. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon for more breaking updates. The world's history is shaped by commerce, conflict, and ambition. Few projects capture this like the Nicaragua Canal. For centuries, the idea of a waterway across Central America has tempted empires and entrepreneurs, promising to rival the Panama Canal and transform global trade. Today in 2025, President Daniel Ortega has revived this long-dormant dream, aiming to redraw shipping routes and elevate Nicaragua's fortunes. The proposed canal would stretch 445 kilometers from Bluefields on the Caribbean to Corinto on the Pacific, designed for the world's largest ships. Its global significance is immense, especially for China, which seeks new trade routes less influenced by the United States. Yet the project's history is littered with failures, and its revival comes amid rising US-China tensions and environmental warnings. Washington's recent sanctions signal deep unease, while scientists and human rights advocates warn of ecological disaster and mass displacement. The Nicaragua Canal is a microcosm of today's world: the rise of China, the clash between development and preservation, and the ambitions of a small nation caught between giants. As new studies begin and diplomatic maneuvering intensifies, the world watches, uncertain if this is a new era or another chapter of unfulfilled dreams. For now, the canal remains an idea, powerful, disruptive, and fraught with monumental obstacles. Its journey from blueprint to reality is one of the great geopolitical questions of our time. The stakes could not be higher. The Nicaragua Canal dream is centuries old, first imagined by Spanish conquistadors who saw a shortcut to Asia in Lake Nicaragua's geography. Hernán Cortés called it a path to global mastery, but the technology of the era fell short. In the 1800s, the idea resurfaced. Napoleon III praised it, and the US nearly chose Nicaragua over Panama for its canal. For decades, Nicaragua was the favored route, but fears of volcanic eruptions and political lobbying tipped the scales to Panama. The Panama Canal's 1914 opening sidelined Nicaragua's dream, though the US kept treaty rights for a backup canal for years. After the Cold War, the project faded into obscurity, a relic discussed by historians rather than policymakers. Yet, the canal's geographical logic endures, fueling today's revival as both a symbol of national destiny and a cautionary tale. The dream persists because the promise, a new path between oceans, remains as compelling as ever. The most dramatic recent failure began in 2013, when President Ortega granted a 50-year concession to the mysterious HKND Group, led by Chinese tycoon Wang Jing. Promising a $50 billion investment, HKND unveiled plans for a canal through Lake Nicaragua, with ports, airports, and resorts. Hopes soared, but skepticism grew over Wang's lack of experience and the project's secrecy. The 2015 Chinese stock market crash wiped out Wang's fortune, and the project collapsed, leaving only dirt roads and broken promises. HKND's downfall exposed the risks of betting a nation's future on a single investor and opaque deals. The collapse was a national embarrassment and a bitter lesson for Nicaraguans, especially those threatened with land expropriation. Today, the ghost of HKND haunts the new proposal, reminding all how quickly grand dreams can dissolve. The question now: what's different this time? In 2024, Ortega's government canceled the HKND concession but immediately revived the canal project under state control, inviting Chinese investment. The new plan avoids Lake Nicaragua, starting at Bluefields and ending at Corinto, aiming to sidestep past environmental outrage. The redesigned canal would be 445 kilometers long, up to 540 meters wide, and 27 meters deep, capable of handling the world's largest ships. The cost has ballooned to $65 billion, far beyond Nicaragua's economic capacity. Financing remains the biggest hurdle. Without a major international backer, the plan is aspirational at best. China, while courted, remains non-committal. Its state firms are pragmatic and demand clear returns. The new route brings fresh challenges: deforestation, watershed disruption, and massive engineering obstacles in a seismically active region. The blueprint solves one problem but creates many more, especially the unanswered question: who will pay? The canal's future is as uncertain as ever. The Nicaragua Canal is a geopolitical chess piece, not just an infrastructure project. Its construction would mark a strategic win for China and a blow to U.S. influence in Central America, ending the Panama Canal's monopoly. For China, it's a Belt and Road Initiative extension. For the U.S., it's a security threat. Washington has responded with sanctions and warnings, seeing the canal as a potential foothold for Chinese naval power. Nicaragua, seeking Chinese investment, risks becoming a pawn in great power rivalry, betting its future on Beijing's willingness to challenge the U.S. Panama, feeling threatened, is expanding its own canal, sparking a regional race. Other Central American nations watch warily, torn between Chinese investment and U.S. ties. The canal, built or not, is already reshaping regional politics and forcing nations to choose sides. Nicaragua's gamble could bring rewards, or devastating risks. The stakes are global, and the outcome uncertain. Proponents claim the canal will transform Nicaragua, creating 500,000 jobs and boosting GDP by up to 15% a year. The vision, Nicaragua as a Central American Singapore, leaping from poverty to prosperity in a decade. But independent economists are skeptical. The $65 billion price tag is over 4 times Nicaragua's GDP. Even if funding appears, the debt burden could cripple the nation for generations. The canal's profitability is uncertain. It must lure traffic from the expanded Panama Canal and other routes. A risky bet. Promised jobs may mostly go to imported skilled labor, leaving locals with low-wage, temporary work. The failed HKND project left many wary of grand employment promises. There's also the risk of economic dependency and corruption, with Nicaragua's weak institutions raising red flags. The gap between dazzling promises and harsh realities is the project's greatest obstacle. The canal's environmental cost could be catastrophic. The original plan threatened Lake Nicaragua, Central America's largest freshwater source, with pollution and ecosystem collapse. The new route avoids the lake but would carve through rainforests, wetlands, and farmland, causing massive deforestation and habitat loss. Billions of cubic meters of earth would be moved, disrupting rivers and requiring huge artificial reservoirs, altering regional water supplies. The canal's water needs could worsen droughts and create disease-prone reservoirs. Pollution, invasive species, and legal battles over indigenous rights loom large. The project pits old-school development against modern ecological understanding. For many, the environmental price is simply too high. Behind the grand vision lies a painful human story. Up to 120,000 people, many from indigenous and Afro-descendant communities, could be displaced. These are not just homes, but entire ways of life rooted in ancestral lands. Past canal laws allowed sweeping land expropriation, sparking mass protests and a landmark human rights ruling against the government. Many fear the new project will repeat these injustices, sacrificing vulnerable citizens for state ambitions. Promised jobs can't replace lost homes or community bonds. Displacement would fracture social fabric, forcing people into unfamiliar cities or resettlement zones. The canal divides Nicaragua, pitting government ambition against grassroots resistance. The human cost may be the heaviest price of all. In late 2025, the Nicaragua Canal remains a shimmering vision, revived, debated, but still unrealized. Its new route and plea for Chinese investment have reignited global debate and local anxiety. The obstacles, financing, engineering, environment, and social consent are as daunting as ever. Without China's full backing, the project is unlikely to move beyond paper. The canal's fate is tangled in U.S.-China rivalry, Nicaragua's politics, and global economic uncertainty. It stands as a symbol of ambition versus reality. Yet, the idea endures, forcing us to confront the true price of progress and the balance between sovereignty, environment, and human rights. Whether built or not, the canal's story reflects our world's deepest challenges and aspirations. It is a vision in the water, compelling us to look deeper. The future remains unwritten,